This is not a random act of violence. This is targeted, but rather business leaders who fear for their own safety now in the wake of something like this.
Yeah, all kinds of questions about security for business leaders right now as well. So we will keep on this. This is an around-the-clock dragnet from the New York City Police Department and other law enforcement agencies. We'll bring you more details this morning as they come in. Let's turn back now to Washington. The final task force hearing on the attempted assassinations against Donald Trump devolved into a yelling match yesterday when acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe got into a heated exchange with Republican Congressman Pat Fallon of Texas. The confrontation was sparked after Fallon shifted his line of questioning from Secret Service failures in Butler, Pennsylvania in July to Rowe's appearance at the 9/11 Ground Zero Remembrance Service a couple of months later. Fallon accused Rowe of attending the event to further his career, while Rowe accused Fallon of trying to politicize the September 11th terrorist attack commemoration.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question.
Please.
You are
Order.
out of line, Congressman.
Don't try to bully
line.
me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are
I
playing
am a
politics.
public servant who has served this nation, and
You
spent
won't answer
time
the question.
on our day, on our country's darkest day.
Committee will come to order.
Politicize it.
Committee will come to order.
I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that
No,
day?
I wasn't. I was there representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United
I'm
States
just
Secret
asking you yes or
Service,
no.
sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
and
time's
did not
expired.
affect protective
Fallon,
operations.
You know why you were
time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible, because you are auditioning for this
I was
job.
there to
that
pay
you're not
respect
gonna
for a
get
fallen
till
member of
January
this
20th.
agency.
You endangered
You are
President
out of line,
Biden's life,
Congressman.
Vice President
You are out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Because you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you.
Fallon, your
You wear a
time
vest,
has
you have a
expired.
weapon.
Mr.
No.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Good Lord. Jackie, what's going on there? What's the context? I mean, there was obviously there was a photograph of Mr. Rowe at the 9/11 remembrance. The congressman there suggesting he was out of position to protect Vice President Harris and Donald Trump and others. There's the photograph. What's going on here?
Yeah, Willie, it's actually, I got to say, up until that moment I was in the room, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is really such a substantive congressional hearing that we're having. There was a lot of productive exchanges between Republicans and Democrats until that moment. And actually, the exchange began with Pat Fallon asking Rowe why, as the second in command to Kimberly Cheadle at the time of the assassination, if he was aware of some of the heightened threats against Donald Trump, why he wasn't in Butler, Pennsylvania, and more proactive in terms of deploying counter-surveillance units and counter-assault units to try to ultimately prevent the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Basically insinuating that Rowe was in a position as the number 2 at the agency at the time to try to have the knowledge to prevent something like that. And then from there, it devolved into Fallon accusing Rowe of trying to position himself for personal gain, that he was essentially auditioning for a job for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris by trying to get in the back of this photo op. Rowe obviously immediately refuted these allegations and noted his personal connection to 9/11 and that he was there sifting through the ashes in the aftermath after a Secret Service agent died. The Secret Service also put out a statement after the fact, after the hearing yesterday, saying that those claims that Fallon was making, that Rowe, misplaced and pushed out special agents who were out of place to protect the president and the vice president at the time, were false, and that the security and protective detail at the time was as it should have been.
So Ronald Rowe, as you said, pointed out, he was there in the aftermath of the attacks of 9/11, was at Ground Zero. As he said, sifting through the ashes, wanted to go there to pay his respects. So I think some of those members of Congress, as you know, Jack, are used to using those hearings to grandstand, to maybe raise some money, get some clips online. Not always used to getting it back as good as they gave in that hearing. So just briefly, since you were there, let's talk about the substance of it. What came out of the hearing? This was a 5-month investigation post-Butler by this committee. What did we learn from it? What will be improved in the Secret Service because of it? Yeah,
Rowe meticulously went through a number of implementation and changes to the agency that they've already made, and then further outlined plans going ahead, even looking ahead all the way to 2028 to beef up the protective agency that's going to be charged with protecting Trump, his family members, and other protectees under their watch. He said that they're going to expand the workforce by 1,000 agents, special agents, and officers by next year. They said that they've implemented retention incentives so that veteran agents who had been leaving the agency due to issues of either culture and morale or just being burnt out. These are people who work 24/7 around the clock with very little breaks in extremely high stress environments, that those incentives have actually been working in terms of retaining those veteran agents and elevating them. They also said that they've been working with interagency to try to leverage some of the new technology developments, that there is an autonomous robot that has been trawling the seawalls at Mar-a-Lago recently in order to protect Trump as he and his family are really conducting the transition at his residence and private club in Florida. And they've also done things like they've hired a chief wellness officer, someone who can provide some support for these agents who are maybe struggling with mental health or other issues related to the grueling nature of the work. So it's, Donald Trump has not made his decision yet for the nomination for someone who is actually probably going to be one of the most important people in his administration, charged with, again, overseeing the agency that is going to protect him day in and day out as he does face a lot of heightened threats from foreign and domestic actors. Roe, he's been complimentary of Roe's leadership and the response that Secret Service agents had to the attempted assassination, but it's unclear if Roe is going to stay in this job or not.
And by the way, Donald Trump may like what he saw in that hearing yesterday from Ronald Roe. Secret Service has an incredibly difficult job. We hope maybe coming out of these hearings something productive happens. They get the help and the support that they need to continue to do it well. The Washington Post, Jackie Alamany, thanks so much, as always, for your reporting.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Willie.
it. Coming up, a live report from Paris ahead of the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral 5.5 years